Okay, so now we are at the halfway point of the game. We're at the 7th day. We went through our whole draw deck. We had to shuffle it up again. That's what I did. Now we draw up to 6 cards. Here's what I got. Here's what Jen has. Jen's going to go first. So it's a nice sunny day. We don't have to worry about weather today. So Jen's definitely going to use this 0-point acclimatization card just to get rid of it. Alright, now for her movement. See what she wants to do here. There's one risk token there that has 1 point of penalty on it. So what she could do, she doesn't have a whole lot of movement points here. Alright, so they add up to 3. But she does want to use this up just to get rid of it. It's a filler card, you know? So she's going to play 3 points of movement. Okay, and the reason she's going to do that is... Alright, so she has 3 points of movement. And the reason she's going to do that is, if she has to take the penalty, she'll take the 1 point and use it on this card. And then she'll just move this guy from here to here with me. Or, actually, you know what, she'll move it from here to here and try and get her hikers closer together. Because tomorrow, there's going to be some weather, and we're going to lose 2 points of acclimatization. So, yeah, that's what she's going to do. Okay, so, she has 3 points of movement here. So, she's going to discard a 0. She's going to play these 3 points on this guy here. So, she's going to go 1, 2, 3, and move them in with this guy here. The reason being, tomorrow is going to be some weather, okay, from 6,000 meters up to the peak, and we're going to lose 2 points of acclimatization. So what she wants to do is move these 2 guys closer together and pitch a tent with one of them guys tomorrow. All right. It's on a spot that doesn't give you a penalty for being on it. If we put a tent up there, they'll only lose 1 point of acclimatization. All right. So that's what she plans to do. If she gets the risk token, she'll choose the 1 point and use it on this card, and then just move this guy from here to here with the 2 point card she has. Alright, so that's what Jen's going to do. Now, what I am going to do is... Alright, so... I'm going to get rid of this 0 acclimatization card. That's a given. Alright, so... with his other points... movement points. I'm going to play 5 points of movement because I expect to take a risk token on this because it's so high of a movement. I anticipate on taking a risk token because I'm playing such a high number of movement points. So I'm going to play 5 points of movement. I'm going to move this guy from here to here, which will be 2 points, and then I'm going to spend the other 2 points to build a tent. And that costs however many points it is that the spot you're in is worth. So this spot is worth 2 points. It'll cost 2 points to put a tent there. So in order for me to move there and put a tent there, it'll cost me 4 points of movement. I anticipate on taking a hit with the penalty with the risk token because it's such a high number. So I'll play it on this card here. It'll knock it down to 2. And it'll be 4 points total. So that's what I'm going to do. I have 5 points. Jen has 3 points of movement. I take the risk token. I'm going to take the 1 naturally. Okay, so we go on to the movement phase. Or the action phase. Like I said, Jen's going to play this just to get rid of it. She's going to discard it. Go over here. And again, like I said. 1, 2, 3. She's done. We move MC Hammer Pants up to 3 points along with her other guy there. We discard these 2 cards. Okay, goes over to me. Same thing. I'm going to discard that. It's worthless. I have to pay the risk token. So I'm going to use it on this card here. I'm going to discard it. Now this card's only worth 2 points. Okay, so now I got 4 points. I'm going to move him up 1, 2. I also get 5 points for this guy. And I actually should have moved it up to 4 the turn before. I just didn't do it. So I get 5 points, or 4 points of movement. I'm going to spend the last 2 points on pitching a tent with anticipation for tomorrow. Okay? But now, move it up a little bit so you can see. Okay, so now, as you can see here, I can only have one hiker in a spot at this altitude from 7,000 meters to 8, or actually from 7,000 meters to the peak. You can only have one hiker on a spot at the end of their turn now. Whereas Jen could still have 2 because she's there. This guy down here, he can only stay where he is. So I think what I'm going to do the next turn is I'm going to move this guy into one of these 2 spots. Or actually I could just move him over here and I could avoid the weather altogether. And I might do that. So we discard them 2 cards. So now we move on to the acclimatization phase. My guy and these 2 guys do not take any hits because they are in a spot that doesn't have a gain or subtraction of acclimatization points. This guy here, though, is in a spot where you would subtract 1 point of acclimatization. But being that he is in that spot with a tent, it cancels itself out. So everybody's good with the acclimatization. There's no weather effect that would cause us to lose acclimatization. We're good on that. So we move into the cleanup phase. Like I said, from 6,000 meters to the peak, there's a snowstorm, a blizzard. We're going to lose 2 points of acclimatization. This gets moved over to me. We reveal a risk token, another 1. And then we go into the prep phase. Draw 3 cards. Okay, so here's what I got. Here's what Jen has. I'm the first player. So I know there's going to be a storm here. I'm going to lose 2 points of acclimatization for this guy because he's above 7,000 meters. Alright, he's above 6,000 meters actually. So he's going to lose 2 points of acclimatization just for the weather. So being that he's in a spot with a tent, he's going to lose 2 points just for the weather anyway. So I'm going to play this card on him so he doesn't lose any more. Okay. Now with the movement, I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 2 points of movement. I'm going to play these 2 points of movement. I'm just going to move this guy from here to here. I'm going to keep him below 6,000 meters, below the storm, and just move him here, and then the next few rounds I'll start moving him up. Okay? So that's what I'm going to play. Okay, for Jen, she's going to spend... She's going to spend 1 point of movement, and she's going to erect a tent. Okay? So, now she's got a decision to make. What she could do is play a rope card and a regular movement card. That'll give her 3. She can move one guy up here, alright, which will give her 4 victory points. But she'll lose 3 points of acclimatization. 1 for the spot she's on, 2 for the weather. She doesn't want to do that. So she could play both of her acclimatization cards, you know, and then null out the effect of the storm. Alright, because she's going to erect a tent, and the spot she's on, that'll give her 1 point for the tent, and then she'll just lose 1 point for the weather. So if she does that and she doesn't move either guy, she could play these and then just null it out. But that's a waste of this card, I think. So I think what she's going to do is she's going to play these 3 cards here. Alright, so what she's going to do is she's going to play the acclimatization card on MC Hammer guy, okay? And then she's going to build a tent with him worth 1 point. And then for this rope card, she's going to move Aztec down 1, 2, 3, get him below the weather, okay? I think that's what she's going to do. Alright, so that's what she's going to do. Alright, so comes to me. And now I have 2 points. Jen has 3 points. Jen has to take an acclimatization or a risk token. And that changes up her planning a little bit. So it goes over to me. So I'm going to play this. And I'm going to make sure I give it to the right guy this time. 1, 2. Alright. And then these 2 cards, these 2 points here, he was here. I'm actually going to move him over. 1, 2. Okay? I never moved him back when I was explaining what I was going to do. That's what he's going to do. He's going to stay below the weather. Okay? So, boom. I'm done my movement. Goes to Jen. Now she's got this risk token. So she's got to figure out what she wants to do here. She could just use it on this. You know, void that one out. And then with this card, when you pitch a tent with a rope card, you got to use the upward movement. So she could just use this to pitch the tent. And then one of her guys will just take the hit on the acclimatization because of the weather. One guy will lose 1 point of acclimatization. Or she could just pitch the tent, move the other guy down below the storm, and then use it on the acclimatization card. And then one guy will still take 1 point of acclimatization because of the weather. So that, knowing that that is going to happen, that's what she's going to do. She's going to take the 1 point penalty because of the risk token and play it on this one card. She's going to give, I don't know, this guy here 1 point of acclimatization. And then with the rope card, she's going to use that guy there. She's going to come over here with this card and place a tent. Remember, you can only do it with the up movement on our rope card. We move on to the acclimatization adjustment. Both of Jen's guys are in a spot that doesn't give a penalty for the weather or the spot, and she has a tent, so she'll gain a point on each guy for the tent, but she'll lose 2 points because of the weather. Alright, so it works out that each one of her guys loses 1 point. My guy here, he's below the weather, he doesn't have to worry about it, and he's on a spot that doesn't give a penalty for acclimatization. My guy up here, though, is on a spot that does give a hit for acclimatization, but because there's a tent, it nulls it out. So, due to the weather, MC Hammer guy here will lose 2 points. Alright, so that's the end of that. Move into the cleanup. Nice, clear, sunny day on the mountain today and tomorrow. But the next 2 days, we're going to have a little bit of weather. Alright, Jen gets the first player marker. We reveal another risk token, and it is a 1 point risk. And then we move into the prep phase. Okay, so here's what Jen drew. Here's what I drew. What are we going to do here? Alright, so Jen wants to knock this guy back up in acclimatization. That's a given. So she's going to play this 2 point card here. Alright. Now, being that she's going to knock him up, what she's going to do now is she's going to play 3 points of movement. So she's got to decide on whether to play these 2 equaling 4, or these two that just equal 3 and hope she doesn't get a risk token. Okay, just got to decide on that. Because the plan is, she wants to move this guy up to here. Alright, which costs 3 to get into and an acclimatization point. But being that she's going to go above 6, she's going to get 7 points of acclimatization with the acclimatization card she's going to play. She'll lose that 1 point anyway at the end of the round, so she might as well do it, get into a spot, rather than just losing it because she's above 6 points. You know, she could play the 4 points, and then she gets the risk token, you know, played on 1 point of movement. Or she could play safe and just get the 3 points, you know, and save the 2 movement cards for later. But I don't think she wants to do that. She's worried about the risk. So she's going to play these 2 cards worth 4 points of movement. Because she sees this guy is in the same situation where she is. It costs 3 to get up there. But this guy has plenty of room to move. So she's going to play it safe. Okay, so it goes over to me. Now, I don't have enough movement. If I were to move MC Hammer guy here up to this spot, I would have to play all 3 of my movement cards. I don't want to do that. Not yet, you know. Now, he is a little low. Whoops. He is a little low on acclimatization. I'd like to move him up to 6, so I'm going to play that on him. Okay, now I want to get Aztec guy up the mountain a little bit more. I want him to join me up there. So I'm going to play these 2 cards here. I'm going to use the lower value on the rope in the down movement. And I'm going to play 2 points. And I think that'll be safe enough number. I think that'll be a safe enough number to play without taking a hit to penalties. You know, with the risk tokens. So I'm going to play that. So we throw them out. Jen played 4 points. I played 2 points. You know, I figured I'd play it safe. So Jen now takes a risk token, and naturally she's going to take the 1. Okay? And like I said, she was preparing for that. She's going to play it on one of the 2 movement cards here. She's going to play this acclimatization card on Aztec Pants, and she's going to move them up to 7 points of acclimatization. And then she's going to play the risk token on one of these 2 cards. So one of them is now only worth 2 points, and one is worth 1 point. Total of 3 instead of a total of 4. Okay, come over here. She's going to spend both cards on Aztec Pants. Boom. Goes up there. He now has 4 victory points. And Jen is in the lead with total victory points. Even though I'm higher up the mountain, I'm in the lead with 1 hiker. But total-wise, this guy here, he hasn't scored any points yet. So I got to get him up the mountain. Alright? So it comes over to me. Like I said, I'm going to play 1 point acclimatization on this guy just to get him up to 6. 2 points here with the row card, 1 up. And then 1 normal point. I'm going to move him 1, 2. And I finally get the score with it. Okay, discard that. We go to the acclimatization phase. Now, Jen's guy is on a spot with a penalty for acclimatization, 1 point. Okay, her other guys actually would gain a point, but, you know, it'll void itself out because of her being above 7, or her being at 7 points with that case. So, Jen's Aztec guy gets knocked down to 6, which would have happened anyway, even if she were in a spot that didn't have a acclimatization penalty on it. Okay, so my guy is on a spot without a penalty on it, but the other guy is on a spot with a penalty on it. But he has a tent there, so it nulls it out. He doesn't take a penalty. So I stay where I'm at. We now move into day, what was that, 9? Yeah, we move into day 10. And we are officially 2/3 the way done the game. Okay, I get the first player marker. Reveal a risk token. It's a 1. It's not good. We haven't revealed too many 2 risk tokens. There's still, I think there's 5 of them if I remember right. Alright, we move into the prep phase. Okay, so this is what I have. Let me get them up here so you can see them. Okay, so I have a lot of movement, which is good because I want to get my dude up there. Do I have enough to get him to the peak though? That is the question. I do, but I'd have to play a lot of cards. If I were to do that, I couldn't get him to the peak, but I get him just below the peak. To do that, I would have to spend these 3 cards though. And the problem with that is there's only 2 more days left. And after this day, there's only 2 more days left before we get to day 12. Which means tomorrow I'll be able to draw 3 more cards. But the following day, I'll be stuck with whatever I have. And what I want to do is, within the next couple days, I want to get my guy above 8,000 meters because there's going to be weather tomorrow and the following day. The following day is going to be real bad. There's a blizzard between 7 and 8,000 meters. They'll lose 2 points of acclimatization. Okay? So knowing that, what I want to do is I'm going to move this guy above the 8,000 meter mark to get him above the weather by that day. And I'm going to move this guy into the tent. Alright, remember, this far up from 7,000 meters up, I can only have 1 guy on a spot at the end of the turn. So, I'm going to play this one on 1 hiker, on MC Hammer Pants. I'm going to get him up to the next level. And then, I would like to play this and get Aztec guy up there, but I'm going to play this instead because I know I'm going to take a hit on the movement with the risk tokens. So I'm going to play 7 points of movement. Okay, 3 of them are going to go to this guy to get from here to here. 3 of them are going to go to this guy. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm anticipating on taking a hit with the risk. So the 4th point will get spent on the risk token. Okay, so now Jen sees the weather. She's in the same boat as me. So the reason she put Aztec Pants first is because he's got a tent left, and he could pitch that further up the mountain. All right, so that's the reason she moved him up a little bit first. So what she's going to do is she's going to continue to move him up. I think she's going to hold off on MC Hammer Pants where he is for a couple turns to try and avoid the effects of the weather. So she's going to play these 3 cards. Okay, she's going to save the rope cards unless she's got to get down the mountain, with MC Hammer Pants there into the tent. But she's going to play these 3 cards. This gives her 4 points. She's going to play that on Aztec Pants. She's going to play all 3 cards on Aztec Pants. And what she's going to do is she's going to get them from here to here. And then this will null out the point that she'll lose for being in the spot. Okay? This will null out the acclimatization points. Alright, so we add them up. She's got 3. I got 7. Like I anticipated, I'll take the risk and the penalty. I'll choose the 1. And I'll play it on, I'll say this card here. Okay, so that'll drop it down to 3. Alright. I'm sorry, it'll drop it down from 3 to 2. I'm sorry, no. I'm going to play it on the 2-point card. I can't play it on that because I got to separate the cards for the hikers. I'm going to play it on one of these 2-point cards. Okay. It'll drop it down to 1. It'll be a total of 3 for the 2 cards. And with them 3 points, I'm going to move him 1, 2, 3. And then we move him up to 4. This guy here. 1, 2, 3. We move him up to 6 points. And it is on to the acclimatization phase. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's on the Jen's turn. I'm trying to skip faster. I'm in such a rush to get up the mountain, I forgot all about her. Alright, so she's going to play this on Aztec guy. Gives him 1 point. Her other 4 points, she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And it moves Aztec pants up to 5 points. Okay, she's right behind me. Okay, so now we move on to the acclimatization phase. I mean it this time, not just lying. Alright, so my MC Hammer guy loses 2 points. Aztec guy loses 1 point. As you can see, MC Hammer got 2 points on this spot. Other guy has 1. Jen's MC Hammer guy is good. Her Aztec guy will lose 1 point, but she anticipated that, so it'll just drop back to 6. Okay, we're on day 10. Alright. That's the end of day 10. We go to the cleanup. Move it up. Now it's going to be foggy out from 7,000 meters to 8,000 meters. We'll lose 1 point acclimatization there. Jen gets the first player marker, and we reveal another risk token. And it is another 1. Okay, so we move on to the prep phase, and Jen draws these final 3 cards that I cannot pick up. Alright, I draw my final 3 cards, which I had more success in picking them up. Okay. Okay, so what is Jen going to do? Now she's worried about tomorrow too. She knows if she stays where she's at today, she's going to lose 1 point acclimatization. She could move up and then take the hit on both of them. It wouldn't be both of them. It would only be this guy here, because this guy's in a tent, so it would null itself out. She lose 2 points with this guy. And that's what I got to think about. We're getting closer to the top, so it's getting tougher with the acclimatization. You know, we're losing 2 points of each. We're losing 2 points each turn. You know, when we get to the top 2 spots on the mountain. So I got to start thinking about that for both of them, for both me and Jen. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Jen's going to leave this guy here. Okay, he's just going to chill out in the tent. He's going to wait for the weather to go by. I, on the other hand, or her other guy, on the other hand, is going to, she's going to hold on to this acclimatization card. Alright, because that's all she can play the next round. Alright, we're down to tomorrow we'll be down to the final 3 cards. So she wants to hold on to that. Now, she could play the rope cards. She could play both of them, get back in the tent with them, and then choose not to move the next couple days. But she doesn't want to do that. What she wants to do is she's at 6 points today. If she gets above this 8,000 meter mark, she'll lose 2 points. If she stays below that, she'll lose 2 points. Now she could play 5 points of movement, but she'll take a risk token most likely with that. She's going to hold on to the rope cards in case she has to move down the mountain tomorrow. Or no, wait. She won't be able to do anything tomorrow. Because she's only got 2 points of movement with the rope cards. Alright, so it'll cost her 6 points of movement to get down the mountain. And that, between the 2 rope cards, it's not enough to get her into the tent with the other guy. But if she moves up, she's got to play 5 points of movement. And she knows she's going to take a hit on her risk tokens. That'll leave her with 4. It's not enough to get to the spot below the peak. What's she going to do? Alright, she's gonna hold on to the 3. And the 1. She's gonna play this. She's gonna play 5 downward movements. Alright, and then she'll take the penalty on the 6. She's anticipating to do that. And then the next turn, what she'll do is she'll play the acclimatization card on Aztec guy, because she's going to have to build him back up. And then she'll start to move back up the mountain. Alright, so that's what she's going to do. She's going to play these 3. She's going to move down the mountain. She doesn't have enough to get to the tent. Yeah, that's what she's going to do. Alright, so it goes over to my guys. Okay, so I know I'm playing 3 points of movement to get my guy above the 8,000 meter mark. Okay, so now with the other one, the other card, I got a debate on whether to play the acclimatization card, because he's going to take a hit of 2 points, and he's already down 2, so he's at 4. That'll bring him down at 2, and it's a little too close to being dying. So that's what I think I'm doing. I'm going to play 3 points acclimatization on him. So all I'm going to do is move MC Hammer Pants up to the spot below the peak, and then give him some acclimatization, and hopefully he can get up there, hold off for 2 days, and then come back down. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. Jen has 3 points of movement. Remember, with the rope cards, only the upward count. So she has 3 points for the risk. I have 3 points for risk. Neither one of us takes a risk token. So that changes Jen's strategy a little bit. She was just going to go down and then start working her way back up. But now she's got enough points here. She's going to come all the way down here. So 2, 5, 6. She's going to chill out in the tent with that guy. That's what she's going to do. And then tomorrow, she's got 4 points of movement and 3 points in acclimatization. So she'll have to take the hit on the acclimatization. And she'll just give one guy 2 points acclimatization. Okay, so that's Jen's movement. Now for me, like I said, it all goes to MC Hammer. So 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna play all 3 points here on the movement. So 1, 2, 3. We bring it up to 7. That's the end of that. We move into the acclimatization. Both the Jen's guys are good. They're in the tent, but due to the weather, they would lose a point. But being in the tent, they would gain a point, so it cancels itself out. On the other hand, I'm going to lose 2 points with this guy. 1 for the space, 1 for the weather. 3 points on this guy. Or 1 point, 2 points on this guy. 2 points for the spot. He's above the weather. So MC Hammer comes down 2. Aztec comes down 1. That is the end of that round. Now we have to worry about tomorrow, where the blizzard is going to hit the mountain from 7,000 meters up. Okay, so we move it over. I get the first player marker. We got 3 risk tokens out. We're good on that. Here's my cards to play. Here's Jen cards to play. So I got 2 points. Jen has 4 points. Jen has to take a risk token. She's going to take it right there. So now it's my movement. Like I said, I'm going to play this on Aztec guy. Okay, he's going to take a hit of 2 for the spot he's in. That'll help him out a little bit. It'll relieve him just a hair. Okay. These other 2 cards, I'm going to play on him, get him in the tent. Okay, try and avoid the weather a little bit. Now, Jen is in the tent. Each one of our guys is going to take a point of acclimatization loss. But she's got to decide on what to do with this token here. She could play on the movement cards, but that means she's got to move, and she doesn't want to do that. So she's going to play it on the acclimatization card. And she's going to play that on one of the guys. And she's going to play it on the Aztec guy because he's going to start moving up the mountain again. So he's going to lose the most acclimatization points, once he starts moving. Okay, so that's what she's going to do. She's not going to move. She's just going to play the point on the acclimatization. We go into the acclimatization phase. So both the Genesis guys are in a tent, and that gives her +1 on the acclimatization. But being that there's a blizzard from 7,000 meters to 8,000 meters there, each one of our guys loses 1 point. Okay, and being that Jen's above 7, she goes down to 6. Over to me. My guy here is in a tent. He's chilling there, so that cancels out the spot penalty, but he loses 2 due to the weather. This guy up here, he's good with the weather, but he loses 2 due to the spot. So that took a bit of a hit. Alright, so now we move up to the cleanup. Jen's going first. We now enter day 13. Nice sunny day. And we reveal our risk token, another number 1. So now I gotta shuffle up some cards.